शुक्लांबरधरं विष्णुं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानामालयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादशङ्करं लोकशङ्करम्। Namaste. Now we will see the meanings of Sri Vishnu Sahasranama based on Sri Shankaracharya Bhashya for verse 86. First we will see the verse. Suvarna Bindurakshobyah Sarvavagishwareshwarah Mahahrado Mahagarto Mahabhuto Mahanitihi. The namas herein are Suvarna Binduhu Akshobhyah Sarvavagishwareshwarah Mahahradah Mahagartah Mahabhutah Mahanithihi. There are 7 namas herein. We will see the meanings of each of these one by one. The first nama is Suvarna Bindu. There are a couple of interpretations herein. We will see the first one. Bindavaha Avayavaha Suvarna Sadrishaha Asyeti Suvarna Bindu. Bindu refers to the limbs. The one who is endowed with gold-like beautiful limbs is Suvarna Bindu. So, as we see, there are 2 components in this nama, Suvarna and Bindu. Bindu here has been interpreted by Acharya as Avayava. Avayava means limbs. So, how are the limbs of Bhagavan? Suvarna. Suvarna Sadrisha. Acharya says Suvarna Sadrisha. Gold like, golden, glistening, beautiful. So the one whose form is Hiranmaya, Suvarnamaya, so that one can focus the mind on the Swarupa of Bhagavan during meditation. The Vedas also glorify the form of Bhagavan as such. Apranakhat sarvaeva suvarnaha. So from toe to head, the Paramapurusha, the Paramatman, is golden, so that a yogi can meditate that glorious form in his heart. The next interpretation is Shobhanaha Varnaha Aksharam Binduscha Yasmin Mantre Tanmantratma va Suvarna Bindu. Bindu refers to syllable. The mantra which is endowed with beautiful syllables and the Anuswara, the one who is not different from such mantra. So here in this context, the word Bindu is interpreted as a syllable or aksharas, and also Anuswara, that is the Bindu, the dot above, which represents the sound makara. So this points to the mantra. So the mantra that contains Bindu, that is syllables and Anuswara, which is the mantra which is pointed to through this nama. It is Onkara, Onkaram Bindu Sanyuktam. So Onkara is the Nedishtha Pratika, the nearest symbol, verbal symbol to indicate the Bhagavan, Omiti Brahma. And hence Bhagavan is Tan Mantratma, is Onkara Swarupa. So the one has to be meditated upon as Suvarna Bindu. The Onkara Swarupa is glorified through this nama. The next nama is Akshobhyah. Ragadveshadibhihi Shabdadi Vishayaischa Tridasharibhischa Nakshobhyata iti Akshobhyah. The one who is not agitated by passion, hatred, etc., and the objects of senses like sound, etc., and also the enemies of gods or the good. So Akshobhyah. So the one who is not agitated. So Bhagavan is not agitated. He is not agitated by what? What are people generally agitated by? People are agitated or distracted by raga and dvesha and such other internal enemies, hatred, passion, ego, and all such internal enemies. They are agitated and distracted. Shabdadi Vishayaischa, externally the various objects of the senses, Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha, the fragrance, the form, the sound, taste, touch, all these distract people, agitate people, and then also people with inimical intention. So enemies outside, especially in the context of Bhagavan. We see Tridasha Ari. So the enemies of gods are the enemies of Bhagavan, like Hiranyakashipu, Hiranyaksha, Kamsa, and so many. So normally we see that people are agitated by Raga, Dvesha, etc., or the objects of senses, or those who have inimical dispositions against them. But Bhagavan, though he faces all these things, but he is not agitated. So uh, it represents, this nama represents that life will bring so many occasions where people tend to get agitated, but one should remember the Bhagavan who maintains his equanimity, his equilibrium, which is indicated through this nama Akshobhya, and goes on about his duty and responsibility. So that unagitated nature of Bhagavan is presented through this nama Akshobhya. The next nama is Sarva Vagishwareshwaraha. Sarvesham Vagishwaranam Brahmadinam api Ishwaraha Sarva Vagishwareshwaraha. The one who is the Lord of divinities, even like Vagishwara. So here Sarva, Vak, Ishwara, Ishwara are the components. So Vagishwara is the central term here. Vagishwara, Vak is Vani, Saraswati. Saraswatyaha Ishwaraha, the Lord or consort of Saraswati is Brahmadeva. Brahmadeva, the creator, is indicated by Vagishwara. Vagishwara, Ishwara. So the Lord of even divinities like Vagishwara, Sarva Vagishwara. So Brahma stands for all the gods. So Sarva Vagishwara, all divinities, including Brahma, the one who is the Ishwara, the one who is the Ishwara of, or the Lord of all divinities, including Vagishwara, that is Brahmadeva. He is Sarva Vagishwareshwaraha. The next nama is Mahahradaha. Avagahya tadanandam Vishramya Sukhamasate Yoginaha iti Mahahradaha iva Mahahradaha. The one into whose bliss the yogins descend and stay relaxed, like descending and getting relaxed in a great lake. Maha, Hrada are the two terms here, components here. Hrada refers to a lake, Mahat is great. So Bhagavan here is compared to a great lake. Why? What do people do in a great lake? So people visit a great lake and then they descend into it, get immersed, and they relax and feel happy. Similarly, yogins and the bhaktas, they descend into the great lake of Bhagavan Nama, or the consciousness of Bhagavan, or awareness of Bhagavan, God consciousness or God awareness, and then they stay immersed in the awareness of Bhagavan, or by doing the Nama Japa or Sankirtana of Bhagavan. So as people get relaxed in a great lake by getting immersed into it, similarly great yogins, great bhaktas descend into the great lake of Bhagavan Nama Smarana and Sankirtana and blissfully stay there. The next nama is Mahagartaha. There are a couple of interpretations. We will see the first one. Gartavadasya maya mahati duratyayeti Mahagartaha. The one whose maya is not easy to cross, like a great pit. So we see the word Maha, Garta has two components, Garta and Mahat. Garta is a great pit. So Garta is a pit and Mahat is great. So a great pit. So the Bhagavan is compared or described by this Nama Mahagarta. What does this great pit indicate? Great pit here indicates Maya. So Maya is very difficult to cross. In Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavan himself says, Mama Maya Duratyaya. So it's very difficult to cross my Maya. So as people find it very difficult to cross a great pit, similarly, Maya is also very difficult to be crossed, and hence, so the one who is the lord of such Maya, he is Mahagartaha. The second interpretation is Yadva Garta Shabdaha Rathaparyayaha Nairuktairuktah Tasman Maharatho Mahagartaha Maharathatvamasya Prasiddham Bharatadishu. Or Garta in Nirukta refers to Ratha. Mahagarta would then mean Maharatha, a great warrior. That Bhagavan was a great warrior is known well through Mahabharata and such other texts. So here Acharya takes recourse to Nirukta. Nirukta is special Vedic etymology. So there the word Garta, so the normal sense of the word Garta is a pit. So from that perspective, the first interpretation was given. So the Vedic special etymology indicates the word Garta to have a meaning Ratha. So Ratha is a chariot. So Mahagarta then would mean a person who rides a great chariot. Maharatha is also a technical term in the scriptures to indicate a warrior with a certain capability, a great warrior who is a general, of a rank of a general. So that is also indicated by the term Maharatha. So we see that in Mahabharata and other texts that Bhagavan was a Maharatha. There are various ranks of warriors in the Mahabharata and other texts. We see Padati means a person who is part of the infantry army. Rathi means who simply rides a chariot, and Maharatha means who is the general who commands or who leads a particular section of an army. So Maharatha is a great general. So the great warrior that Bhagavan was is known through the various texts. So that is also indicated through the term Mahagarta, which points to Maharatha. And again, why was he a great warrior? To establish dharma. The next nama is Mahabhutaha Kalatrayanavachinna Swarupatvat Mahabhutaha. The one who is of the nature of being not limited by the three divisions of time, past, present, and future. Mahat and Bhuta are the two components here. Bhuta here refers to Bhu Sattayam, the one who exists, the great one who exists. Yes, he is the one who really exists. He is the one who really exists in the past, present, and future, and the one who is not limited by the time. It doesn't mean that he only existed in the past, or he is only in the present, or he will manifest only in the future. The one who exists at all parts of time. Mahabhutaha. So the one who is not limited by time, the one who is eternal. So he is celebrated by this nama Mahabhutaha. The next nama is Mahanidhihi. Sarvabhutani asmin nidhiyanta iti nidhihi. Mahamshchasau nidhischeti Mahanidhihi. The great one in whom all the elements and beings are deposited back. So Mahat and Nidhi are the two components. Nidhi refers to, Acharya says, Nidhiyante iti nidhi, means those that are deposited back, or those that go back. Who are those that go back into the Bhagavan, or who are deposited back into the Bhagavan? Sarva Bhutani. All the bhutas here may indicate all the beings, including the five elements. So these are indicated by Nidhi. Mahamshchasau nidhischeti Mahanidhi. So he is great. So if all the bhutas have to go back and get deposited into the Bhagavan during the Pralaya Kala. So the substratum of such a deposit should be great. So the one who should be able to hold all these great elements and great entities, so that should be Mahat. So that should be great. And hence the word Mahat or the component Mahat is incorporated in this Nama. So the great source or substratum into which all the beings and all the elements are deposited back during the time of Pralaya, dissolution. He is Mahanidhi. Thus, with these 7 namas in verse 86, we have thus far seen 806 namas. Om Tat Sat Shri Krishnarpanamastu.